that this was a rally for Beto. Get closer to the mic. How about I'll just take it off? If I can, you know. Okay, so am I in the right spot? Who's ready for Beto? All right, so just bear with us. Okay, I'm just gonna take 5 minutes of your time if that's okay. And then the next voice you will hear is my lovely friend Giuseppa. Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Kiara Jones-Jackson. I am a sophomore special education major at the illustrious Houston-Tillotson University, the first institution of higher learning in Austin, Texas, and the only HBCU in Austin, Texas. So on behalf of Houston-Tillotson University, I want to say welcome to Austin, the live music capital of the world. I am so blessed and honored to say that I served as a student organizer at HT for the Beto for Texas campaign in the fall 2018 semester. At HT, the word ideal represents our core values. It stands for integrity, diversity, excellence, accountability, and leadership. Beto is an accurate representation of our core values, especially in regards to leadership. Leadership is not about titles or positions. It is about one life influencing another. And Mr. O'Rourke has impacted lives in ways that I could only imagine. He is truly a man of service. He has humbled himself and made himself available to the people that need him most during a time when America is not so accepting. He has chosen to lead by action and truly lives up to the motto, deeds, not words. Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you say, people will forget what you do, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And Mr. Beto O'Rourke, we can truly feel your presence all over this nation today. And we thank you for the impact you have had on our country, the state of Texas, and especially Houston-Tillotson University. And on behalf of President Colette Pierce Burnett and Houston-Tillotson University, I want to extend an invitation for you, Beto, and all of you Beto supporters to come out and spend a day in the life at my HBCU. And once you arrive at 900 Chacon Street, the Genius Generation will welcome you with open arms, curious minds, and warm hearts, and hot food. So thank you so much for allowing me to take 5 minutes of your time, ladies and gentlemen. Beto O'Rourke for President 2020.
My name is Giuseppa DiDomenico, and I go to UT. Yeah, come on! Woohoo! Oh man, it's so nice to see so many registered voters. Yeah, so many excited voices ready to be heard by Beto O'Rourke today. Woo! What was that?
I'm sorry, y'all, if I'm
What I know most about this campaign is that it's a campaign that not only supports, but respects women, people of color, and the LGBT community. Yeah! The people, we know that Beto is ready to hear us, is ready to hear who we are, and is ready to hear the people that we love. This campaign is here for you. Beto is here for you. Beto, my mistake. Thank you. I am so excited for Americans, all people in this country who are deserving of health care, who are deserving of clean water, who are they need to have a job that is not just the living wage, but the life wage. To have their time. Yeah. Y'all ready to? I guess Yes, y'all are. Oh, this is amazing. Okay, so let me introduce the man, not the myth, but the legend, Beto O'Rourke, baby! He's coming. Sorry, taking a little longer than I thought. My speech was supposed to be a little. Beto! 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 Oh, here he comes! Y'all keep shouting! Beto! 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 Beto!
Yo! Come on up, Amy. Austin, how are you doing? We love you, Austin. It is so good to be back here in Austin, Texas, the center and the source of so much of what is good for Texas and for the United States of America, right here. We come first to say thank you for literally transforming and changing the face of our democracy here in the state of Texas. What you did in 2017 and 2018 was nothing short of a miracle. You helped to take a state that had ranked 50th in the country in voter turnout, not because we love our democracy any less than anyone else in any other state, but because our legislature drew us that way, drew people out of their districts based on their race and their ethnicity, drew them out of a reason to vote, drew them out of their very democracy. But you would have none of that. All people, no PACs, no corporations, in every single one of the 254 counties of this state, we decided that we would show up and that we would get after it. We showed up both with the courage of our convictions and a willingness to listen to and learn from everyone that we sought to serve. And though we did not win our Senate race, we came really close, closer than any Democrat has come in nearly 30 years in this state. But here's what you did do. You literally changed the composition of the state legislature right behind where you're standing right now. Y además, we have 2 new members of Congress from the state of Texas, Democrats who are sitting in seats long held by Republicans. You helped to make that happen. And in Harris County, home to Houston, Texas, 17 African American women elected to judicial positions, literally changing the face of criminal justice in this country's most diverse city. So thank you, Austin, and thank you, Texas, for what you have done. You have made this moment possible, and we need it, and we're going to need every single one of you, because we're up against the biggest challenges of our lifetimes. We have an economy that works too well for too few and not at all for too many. A system of healthcare where millions are unable to see a doctor or be well enough to live to their full potential, and our last best chance to confront climate change before it is too late is fading in the face of our inaction. Now, we must overcome these challenges, but we must first ask ourselves how this, the wealthiest, the most powerful country on the face of the planet, the most powerful country in the whole of human history, has found itself in such a perilous position. It is because those who hold a purchase on power do so at the expense of the powerless. They use fear and division, the same way that this president is using fear and division, based on our differences of geography or race or ethnicity or religion, to try to keep us apart, to make us angry, or to make us afraid of ourselves or of one another. And then you have unrestricted money and influence that is literally able to purchase outcomes in our elections and in our legislation, inviting the cynicism, the distrust, and the disengagement of millions of our fellow Americans. The only answer to this is a vigorous democracy, both a political democracy and an economic democracy. But when the safeguards of this democracy are manipulated by those in power, when members of Congress choose their own voters, when the Supreme Court says that corporations are people and money is speech, when PACs and special interests can buy these elections, when we refuse to expand voting rights but instead functionally contract them, then we have our work cut out for us, because if we continue on this trajectory, we will be a democracy in name only. And this idea that we were founded on the basis that we were all created equal to equal opportunity will be seen as a lie to those who've experienced gross differences in opportunities and outcome, in education, in healthcare, in our economy, and in justice. I want to make sure that given the challenges and the threats to our democracy before us, that we do not meet them with only half measures or only half the country. It's going to take all of us and everything that we've got. Are you with me? So let's decide now, whatever the differences between us, where you live, who you love, to whom you pray, for whom you voted in the last election, none of that matters given what we face right now. Before we are anything else, let us decide that we are Americans first. And in so doing, let's come together around this country's priorities. Guaranteed, high quality, universal health care in every single part of the United States of America. And in a country in the year 2019 that is losing too many of our fellow Americans to diabetes, to the flu, to curable cancers, then universal care means every single one of us is able to see a primary care provider. Every single one of us is able to see a mental health care provider. And in the midst of a crisis in maternal mortality, 3 times as deadly for women of color, universal care means every woman makes her own decisions about her own body. If we really believe in an economy that works for all, then we're going to begin with world-class pre-K through 12 public education, every part of this country. And we will not ask teachers and our educators and our social workers and our librarians and our counselors to work 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet. They already have the most important job in front of them, unlocking that lifelong love of learning within every single child. It's getting warm here. And we're going to continue by making sure that every child who graduates from high school is both college ready and career ready. College ready for debt-free college in a country that already has way too much college debt. And career ready, meaning that we strengthen the power of unions and the ability to enter apprenticeships, to be able to learn trades and skills that will allow us to command jobs that pay a living wage for the course of our life. And we're going to make sure that your family, that your gender, that your race, that your sexual orientation does nothing to prevent your economic advancement. It means that women receive equal pay. It means paid family leave for every family in this country. It means no discrimination in the workplace for anyone on any basis. And then those communities that have been shut out of capital, of home loans, of the ability to build wealth for generations, ever since the end of Reconstruction, we're going to prioritize their access to capital so that they can get ahead as well. And if we truly believe in this country, in justice for all, every single one of us, then we will squarely confront the fact that we have the largest prison population per capita on the face of the planet. And those who are locked up tonight are disproportionately people of color. Far too many there for nonviolent drug crimes, including possession of marijuana, a substance that is legal in most states in the union. So let's do this. Let's end the federal prohibition on marijuana. Let's expunge the arrest records for everyone arrested for possession of marijuana. Let's end cash bail. Let's end for-profit prisons. And let's end the war on drugs, which has become a war on people. If this country of immigrants and asylum seekers and refugees understands that the very source of our strength, of our success, and yes, of our safety and our security is that we are a people of the planet who have made this the indispensable nation, then we will, as soon as we can, make every single dreamer a U.S. citizen and free them. Free them from any fear of deportation. We will not only honor our asylum laws, but we will ensure that we never again take another child from another mother after a 2,000-mile journey at a most desperate and vulnerable moment. And if we are serious about security in this country, then Republicans and Democrats and independents alike are going to come together on comprehensive immigration reform. And all that means is rewriting this country's immigration laws in our own image to reflect our values, the reality that we see here in Austin, Texas, and the best traditions of the United States of America. If we accept that there is nothing inherently bad or violent about the United States that would lead to more than 30,000 gun deaths a year, then we're going to make sure that we sign into law universal background checks in every single state in the union, and that those weapons designed, engineered, and sold to the United States military for the sole purpose of killing people as effectively and efficiently in as great a number as possible will no longer be sold into our communities and will stay on the battlefield. To those veterans who are here tonight, we are grateful for your service. And that gratitude must express itself in ensuring that when you came back from Vietnam to a country that did not understand or appreciate your service, or when you come back tomorrow from Iraq, a war that we've been in 27 years, or Afghanistan, a war for 17 years, that we care for you. You do not wait so that your post-traumatic stress disorder or traumatic brain injury or military sexual trauma can be treated. We ensure that we bear every burden for every single veteran who has put their life on the line for this country. But if we are serious, then we take it a step further, and we agree as a country that we will not start yet another war unless every peaceful, nonviolent, diplomatic solution has been pursued, and then we end these wars that have no definition of victory, no commonly understood strategy, and bring these service members back home to their country, to this community, and to their families. And if you agree with the scientists, if you listen to them, 300 years after the Enlightenment, it shouldn't be an open question. But those scientists tell us that our own emissions, our own excesses, our own inaction has produced 1 degree of global warming just since 1980. And those fires and those floods and those droughts that are consuming not just property, but human lives will become that much worse if this planet warms another degree Celsius. So we must take the lead in ensuring that we free this country from a dependence on fossil fuels, invest in renewable energy and the high wage, high value, high skilled jobs that come with it. And then we acknowledge that the communities that have borne the brunt of climate change thus far, lower income communities and communities of color, are able to share in the economic expansion once we start investing in these renewable energies. We truly are the last best hope of Earth, and we have 10 years within which to act. We cannot be found wanting. And lastly, when it comes to our foreign policy, let's make sure that we no longer turn our backs on our friends, on our allies, alliances in so many cases forged in sacrifice and in service. Let's make sure that we end these love affairs with dictators and strongmen all over the world. And that we earn the respect of the world, not just by how we treat those who live in other countries, but how we treat those who live within the borders of this country. And I hope you agree with me, that should extend to how we treat people who are at our borders right now. The success of this country in confronting any one of these challenges and turning this moment of peril into a moment of promise is contingent on this democracy, the single greatest mechanism humankind has ever devised to call forth the power of people and the genius of a nation. But this democracy right now is badly compromised, and we must entail to fix this democracy. That means we sign into law a new Voting Rights Act in America so that every single vote will count. That means that we end the practice of gerrymandering in America. That means that we get big money out of our politics. No PACs, all people. And it means that we have same-day and automatic voter registration in every part of America. But full political democracy only becomes possible with a vigorous pursuit of economic democracy. That means that every child, every man, every woman in this country must be able to see a future for themselves in this country. The unprecedented concentration of power and wealth and privilege must be broken apart and opportunities shared with all. Si queremos enfrentar los retos que tenemos aquí en este país, del cambio climático, el cuidado de salud por todos y de la reforma migratoria, necesitamos una democracia en que podemos contar en cada voto y en que podemos escuchar a cada voz. Además, necesitamos una economía en donde cada persona puede tener el prospecto de éxito independiente de su género, de su raza y de las cuantas generaciones que tienen aquí adentro de los Estados Unidos o afuera de los Estados Unidos. El éxito de este país depende en el éxito de cada persona adentro de este país. We will not be defined by our fears, by our differences. We will be known forever after by our ambitions, our aspirations, the resolve, the creativity, the service, the sacrifice that we brought to bear in order to achieve them. Our ability to campaign in this way, to bring people together, not PACs or corporations or special interests, not only can ensure that we can win the nomination, not only ensures that we can defeat Donald Trump, but it means that we can bring the full power of people, a movement, this country to ensure that we fulfill this country's priorities. I am honored to be able to run to serve you as the next president of the United States of America. And I am grateful to every single one of you who will be part of this campaign and sacrifice some part of your life in service to this country. Together, together we will ensure that this country fulfills its promise to everyone here, to each other, to ourselves, and to every generation that follows. Thank you, Austin, for having us out. We love you, and we will be back. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nos vemos, Austin. Saludos.
Meet with all his friends. The road goes on forever. Party never ends.
Texas State.
Sonny was a loner, older than the rest. He was going in the Navy, but he couldn't pass the test. So at